And now we're bringing you a CNN exclusive. A senior Pentagon aide is under investigation for allegedly using her staff for personal errands, from fetching her dry cleaning and lunch to picking up her pantyhose, and then allegedly retaliating against anyone who complained. 4 sources familiar with the probe tell CNN that the Defense Department's Inspector General has been investigating Dana White for several weeks. Barbara Starr is live at the Pentagon for us, and she's bringing us this story. Barbara, what are your sources telling you happened here?
Well, Jake, of course, the first thing we want to say is this investigation, and it is an investigation, is ongoing. There have been no final conclusions. There are no conclusions that Dana White violated yet any procedures or policies of the ethics rules of the Department of Defense. But she is under investigation because several employees complained to the Inspector General and others that they were inappropriately transferred out of their jobs by her and her office after they complained that they were being used to conduct personal business, personal errands for her here in the Pentagon. So inappropriate use of staff, it is not permitted to use them for your personal business, and then being retaliated against. That is the allegation. She has not commented on this, but her deputy gave CNN a statement saying, quote, "This is an ongoing review about which we cannot comment." But here's what our sources are telling us. Some of the allegations they have made against her is that she used her personal staff in her office to get her dry cleaning, to buy her pantyhose, to work on mortgage paperwork, to get lunch and snacks for her, and in one case to drive her to the office when it was snowing here in Washington. She actually reimbursed someone for that after being told again that this was not ethically permittable under the rules of the Department of Defense. The ethics rules are very stringent. You cannot use your people to conduct your personal business. No indication that Defense Secretary James Mattis knew about any of this. And it's worth noting, Jim Mattis, you often see him in the hallways of the Pentagon. He goes and picks up his own dry cleaning. Jake.
All right, Barbara Starr at the Pentagon for us. Joining me now to discuss this is CNN military and diplomatic analyst Rear Admiral John Kirby. He served as both the Pentagon and the State Department spokesman during the Obama years. What do you make of this?
Yeah, look, it's if they're true, these are not insignificant allegations. I'm particularly troubled by the retaliation against people, whistleblowers, or folks that she felt were reporting on her. That's the worst of it. But even just the personal errands and picking her up and that's just absolutely, completely forbidden. You can't do that as a senior official in the Pentagon.
Now, do you see this as somebody who worked in the prior administration, and you had several different, you worked under Secretary of State John Kerry, you worked under Secretary of Defense Hagel, among others. Do you see this as something that is set at the top in terms of a culture by the Secretary or even by the President, or is it just an individual's responsibility?
It can be set by the top leader. I don't believe that if this is true, that that's the case there. I mean, Secretary Mattis is extremely ethical in everything that he does. I can't believe for a minute that he would be setting any kind of a tone at the Pentagon that would permit this sort of misbehavior. So oftentimes, though, what you see, Jake, and I saw it as an admiral in the Navy, some people, they just get a little bit enamored of their rank. They feel like they deserve some of these perks and privileges, and it's easy to slide into it. Like, somebody who offers to get you lunch on one day, and then the next week it's a little easier to let them do it again, and then finally maybe to even ask them. So a lot of times these officials, they're briefed, they understand what the rules are. They just find themselves sort of easing into that kind of behavior.
And is the issue here that they are military officials doing this work?
No.
They are government officials, federal government officials.
That's right. It's a violation of the trust and confidence that the taxpayers are putting into you to behave in such a way and to use the resources that are being applied to help you do your job in an ethical and very transparent way. And so having somebody go do a personal errand for you, that's not their job. Their official function is to maybe help you with your scheduling. That doesn't mean that they can be used for personal errands.
What do you think Secretary Mattis is saying about this? As you note, he's somebody who has a reputation for being extremely ethical, decades in military and now civilian life, somebody known as having almost a monastic existence. What do you anticipate?
I can't but believe that he will want this taken as seriously as possible. I also can't but believe that he is disturbed by this. I would imagine that he's quite unnerved by it. And then I think knowing Mattis the way I do, he'll let this play out. He won't get involved. And whatever the investigation says, then he'll make his decisions. I also would tend to believe that if the allegations are proven, particularly the whistleblower ones, that it would be hard for him to, keep Miss White in the job.
Yeah, as you note, the most disturbing thing out of all of this is the idea that there was retaliation.
Yeah.
You certainly can understand somebody giving her a ride, and maybe that gets blown into something it isn't. But people complaining and then retaliation is unacceptable. John Kirby, thanks so much.